Have you ever looked at a couple, perhaps an elderly pair who have weathered decades together, and wondered what their secret is? In a world of fleeting connections and disposable relationships, the idea of an unbreakable bond, of an everlasting love, can seem like a myth, a forgotten tale from a bygone era. We see relationships crumble under the slightest pressure, fractured by misunderstanding, neglect, or the simple, relentless passage of time. We are told that passion fades, that people change, and that love is a fragile, unpredictable force. But what if it isn't? What if an unbreakable relationship is not something you find, but something you build? What if it's not a matter of luck, but a matter of architecture, constructed with intention, wisdom, and unwavering effort? A relationship, like a great temple, requires a solid foundation. It needs pillars, strong and true, that can withstand the inevitable storms of life. Today, we will explore the 8 essential pillars that form the foundation of an unbreakable, everlasting love. These are not quick fixes or romantic platitudes. They are the time-tested principles of connection, the architectural blueprints for a love that doesn't just survive, but thrives. And if you stay with me until the end, I will share with you an ancient story of a love that perfectly illustrates how these pillars can transform a simple connection into a fortress of love. The first pillar: mutual respect. This is the most crucial pillar. This goes far beyond simple politeness or avoiding insults. True respect is the profound recognition of your partner as a sovereign individual, a separate universe of thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It is valuing their mind, their opinions, and their boundaries as much as you value your own. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private meditations, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This is a powerful reminder that your partner's perspective is as valid to them as yours is to you. An unbreakable relationship is a union of two complete individuals, not two halves trying to make a whole. It means you don't try to change them into a version that better suits you. You don't dismiss their dreams as foolish or their fears as irrational. You listen. You seek to understand. You honor the sacred space of their individuality. When your partner says no, you hear it not as a rejection, but as the assertion of a boundary that you must protect as fiercely as your own. Respect is the soil in which trust grows. Without it, love is a plant with no roots, destined to wither at the first sign of drought. It is the quiet understanding that you are two separate musical notes that, when played together, create a harmony far more beautiful than either could produce alone. Practicing this respect in your daily life means becoming an expert in curiosity about your partner. It means asking questions not to challenge, but to learn. When they express an opinion you disagree with, your first instinct should not be to rebut, but to ask, "Help me understand how you see it that way." This active respect extends to their past, their family, and their friendships. You honor the journey that shaped them into the person you love, even the parts you don't fully understand. It means respecting their need for solitude just as much as their desire for connection. This pillar isn't about passive tolerance. It's an active, ongoing process of affirming your partner's value and autonomy, creating an environment where both of you feel seen, heard, and cherished for exactly who you are. The second pillar: trust and loyalty. Trust is not a blind leap of faith. It is a rational confidence earned over time. It is the deep-seated knowledge that your partner's words align with their actions, that their promises are not empty air, but commitments forged in integrity. In a relationship, you are each other's primary association. Trust is built in the small moments, being there when you say you will, keeping a secret that was shared in confidence, telling the truth even when it's difficult. It is the assurance that you can be vulnerable, that you can show your weaknesses and your fears without them being used as weapons against you. Loyalty is the active expression of this trust. It is the unwavering commitment to stand by your partner, not just when it is easy, but when the world turns against them. It is defending their name when they are not there to defend it themselves. It is choosing, day after day, to be on their team, to have their back. In our modern world, distractions are endless. The temptation to look elsewhere, to believe the grass is greener, is a constant whisper. Loyalty is the conscious act of silencing that whisper. It is the understanding that the grass is greener where you water it. Trust and loyalty form the protective walls of the relationship, creating a safe harbor from the chaos of the outside world. It is the feeling of being truly home, knowing that within these walls, you are safe, you are seen, and you are cherished. Think of trust as a vault where you store your most vulnerable self. Every kept promise is a deposit, strengthening the walls. Every broken promise, every lie, every act of betrayal is a crack in that foundation. While major betrayals can shatter it in an instant, it's often the accumulation of small cracks, the micro-betrayals, that cause the structure to fail over time. Loyalty, then, is the vigilant guardianship of this vault. It means not only refraining from betrayal, but also actively protecting the relationship's sanctity. This includes how you speak about your partner to others. Voicing frustrations to a trusted friend is one thing. Habitually complaining or mocking your partner to coworkers or family is a profound act of disloyalty. It signals that the team is divided, that the fortress has been breached from within. The third pillar, open communication. Many believe communication is simply about talking, but it is so much more. It is the lifeblood of a relationship, the circulatory system that carries understanding and nutrients to every part of the union. The essence of true communication is not about winning an argument or proving a point. It is about a shared search for truth and understanding. Open communication means speaking your truth with honesty and kindness, without blame or accusation. It means using "I feel" instead of "you did," taking ownership of your emotions rather than projecting them onto your partner. But even more importantly, it means listening, actively listening. Not just waiting for your turn to talk, but truly hearing the words, the emotions, and the needs behind them. It means putting down your phone, turning off the television, and giving your partner the invaluable gift of your full, undivided attention. Conflicts are inevitable in any relationship. Open communication doesn't mean you will never disagree. It means that when you do, you have the tools to navigate the disagreement constructively. You attack the problem, not the person. You seek a resolution that benefits the relationship, not just your own ego. It is through this honest, empathetic exchange that small misunderstandings are cleared up before they can fester into deep-seated resentments. It is the essential maintenance that keeps the machinery of love running smoothly. This pillar requires immense courage because true communication is an act of profound vulnerability. It's easy to talk about the weather or what to have for dinner. It is much harder to say, "I felt lonely today," or "I'm scared about our finances," or "What you said yesterday hurt me." These are the conversations that build unbreakable bonds. A relationship thrives not in the absence of difficult conversations, but in the willingness to have them. The goal is to create a space so safe that both partners feel they can bring their messiest, most insecure thoughts to the table, without fear of judgment or rejection. This is where the real work is done. It's about replacing assumptions with questions and replacing silence with gentle inquiry, turning the relationship into a continuous, evolving dialogue. The fourth pillar, shared values. While differences in taste and hobbies can add spice to a relationship, a misalignment in core values is a foundational crack that will inevitably threaten the entire structure. Values are your fundamental beliefs about what is important in life. They are your internal compass, guiding your decisions and your actions. Do you both value family, honesty, personal growth, financial security, adventure? What does a good life mean to each of you? These are not small questions. A relationship where one person values stability above all else and the other craves constant change and risk will be a perpetual source of conflict. A partnership where one believes in absolute honesty and the other sees no harm in little white lies will struggle to build trust. Aligning on core beliefs doesn't mean you must agree on everything. It means that on the big questions, how you treat people, what you prioritize in life, your ethical code, you are walking in the same direction. This shared worldview creates a powerful sense of unity and purpose. It means you are not just partners in romance, but partners in life, working towards a common vision. When you share values, your goals naturally begin to intertwine. You become each other's greatest allies in the pursuit of a meaningful existence. This alignment is the silent, invisible force that holds you together, ensuring that even when you walk on different paths, you are always heading towards the same horizon. Discovering and aligning these values is not a passive process. It requires deliberate and ongoing conversation. Think of it as co-authoring a relationship constitution, a living document that outlines your shared principles. What is your family's policy on money, on work-life balance, on how you resolve conflicts, on the role of extended family? Having these conversations explicitly before a crisis forces them upon you is a sign of a mature and intentional partnership. It's about understanding the why behind each other's actions. When you know your partner's decisions are rooted in a value you both share, it's much easier to offer support and understanding, even when you might have chosen a different path. This shared why becomes your North Star, guiding you both through life's inevitable complexities. The fifth pillar, emotional support. Life is inherently challenging. It brings moments of triumph, but also periods of stress, grief, and failure. Emotional support is about creating a sanctuary where both partners can weather these storms. It is the commitment to be each other's safe space. This doesn't mean you have to solve your partner's problems. Often you can't. It means providing a non-judgmental presence, a listening ear, and a shoulder to lean on. It is the ability to sit with your partner in their pain without trying to rush them through it. It is validating their feelings, letting them know that it's okay to not be okay. From a Stoic perspective, emotional support is not about indulging in uncontrolled passion, but about providing a calm, rational anchor. When your partner is lost in a sea of anxiety or despair, you can be the lighthouse guiding them back to the shore of what they can control. You can gently remind them of their own strength and resilience. This pillar is also about celebrating each other's victories. An unbreakable bond is forged not just in shared hardship, but in shared joy. Being genuinely happy for your partner's successes, cheering them on in their pursuits, and being their biggest fan creates a positive feedback loop of love and encouragement. It is the ultimate expression of partnership. Your joy is my joy, and your burden is my burden. We are in this together. A crucial aspect of emotional support is learning to recognize and respond to bids for connection. A bid can be as small as a sigh, a touch on the arm, or a seemingly minor comment like, "Wow, look at that sunset." In that moment, your partner is reaching out, making a bid for your attention and connection. You have a choice. You can turn towards the bid by engaging, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Or you can turn away by ignoring it or giving a minimal response. Couples who build lasting love are masters of turning towards each other's bids. This consistent, moment-to-moment act of being present and engaged is what builds the deep reservoir of goodwill and emotional safety needed to navigate the bigger challenges. It's the daily practice of showing your partner that they are seen, they are heard, and they matter. The sixth pillar, commitment and effort. Love, in its most enduring form, is not merely a feeling that washes over you. It is a decision, a practice, a commitment. The initial spark of romance is exhilarating, but it is not self-sustaining. Like a fire, it needs to be tended to, fed with fuel, and protected from the wind and rain. Commitment is the conscious decision to continue choosing your partner day after day, even when the initial infatuation has mellowed into a quieter, deeper affection. It is the promise to put in the work, especially when you don't feel like it. Effort is the daily action that gives life to this commitment. It's the small, consistent gestures that say, "I see you, I value you, I choose you." It's making a cup of coffee for them in the morning, sending a text in the middle of the day just to say you're thinking of them, planning a date night to reconnect, or taking on a chore you know they dislike. These are the daily deposits into the emotional bank account of the relationship. The great inventor Thomas Edison said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." The same is true for a lasting love. The inspiration is the initial connection, but the 99% that follows is the shared work of building a life together. It is the conscious nurturing of the bond that transforms a fleeting feeling into an unbreakable legacy. This effort must be directed at fighting one of the greatest enemies of long-term love, complacency. It's easy to fall into routines and start taking each other for granted. The effort required here is the effort of intentionality. It means actively creating rituals of connection that protect your bond from the erosion of daily life. This could be a non-negotiable weekly date night, a 5-minute check-in every evening without phones, or a shared morning ritual. It's also the effort to keep learning about your partner, to understand their changing needs and love languages. It's the commitment to not just coexist in the same house, but to actively and continuously build a life of shared meaning and connection, refusing to let your vibrant love story fade into a comfortable but uninspired friendship. The seventh pillar, patience and forgiveness. No human being is perfect. We all have flaws, make mistakes, and have bad days. The seventh pillar, patience and forgiveness, is the grace you extend to each other in the face of this shared human imperfection. Patience is the ability to accept that your partner will not always meet your expectations. They will be irritable. They will be thoughtless. They will forget things. Patience is choosing to respond with calm understanding rather than reactive anger. It is giving them the space to be flawed without withdrawing your love. Marcus Aurelius would begin his day by reminding himself that he would encounter meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, and dishonest people. He did this not to become cynical, but to prepare himself to meet their flaws with reason and patience. How much more should we extend this courtesy to the person we love most? Forgiveness is the essential companion to patience. It is the act of letting go of resentment and the desire for retribution when you have been wronged. Holding onto a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It corrodes you from the inside out and creates a toxic barrier in the relationship. Forgiveness is not about condoning the hurtful action. It is about freeing yourself from its grip. It is a gift you give to yourself as much as to your partner. It is the understanding that a mistake is an event, not a definition of a person's character. Together, patience and forgiveness create an atmosphere of psychological safety where both partners know they can make a mistake, learn from it, and still be worthy of love. It's important to understand that forgiveness is not the same as forgetting, nor is it an automatic pass for harmful behavior. Forgiveness is the internal act of releasing your own heart from the burden of anger. Reconciliation, however, is a two-way street that requires the person who caused the harm to take responsibility, show remorse, and make amends. True forgiveness in a healthy relationship is a process. It acknowledges the pain caused, but makes a conscious choice to prioritize the future of the bond over the injury of the past. It is the ultimate act of faith in your partner's ability to learn and grow, and in the relationship's resilience to heal. It is the quiet, powerful decision to say, our future together is more important than this mistake. The eighth pillar, balance of self and togetherness. The final pillar, which supports the entire structure, is the delicate balance of self and togetherness. A common misconception is that a great relationship requires you to merge into a single entity, sacrificing your own identity for the sake of the we. This path leads to codependency and resentment. The opposite extreme, a life of pure selfishness, where the relationship is merely an accessory, is equally destructive. The unbreakable bond is found in the balance. It is the we built upon two strong and healthy eyes. It is the wisdom of the philosopher Khalil Gibran, who wrote, "Let there be spaces in your togetherness, the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow." Loving yourself, maintaining your own hobbies, friendships, and of purpose is not selfish. It is essential. It ensures that you bring a full and vibrant person to the relationship rather than an empty vessel waiting to be filled by your partner. When you have a strong sense of self, you don't rely on your partner for your happiness or self-worth, which frees them to be your partner, not your savior. This balance allows for both intimacy and autonomy. It creates a dynamic, healthy tension where you can come together in a deep and meaningful union and also retreat into your own space to recharge and grow, always knowing you have a loving partner to return to. It is the ultimate harmony, two whole individuals choosing to build one extraordinary life. This balance is what keeps the relationship vibrant and interesting. When you cultivate your own garden of interests and friendships, you have more to bring back and share with your partner. It prevents the relationship from becoming an echo chamber and infuses it with new energy, new ideas, and new stories. This creates a beautiful paradox. The more you foster a healthy and secure independence, the deeper and more meaningful your interdependence becomes. It's the difference between two vines desperately clinging to each other for survival and two magnificent, deep-rooted trees that stand strong on their own, their branches intertwining in the sky, creating a canopy of shared love and shelter that is stronger and more beautiful than either could create alone. Now, before you go, let me tell you a story that weaves these threads of wisdom into a single powerful image of everlasting love, the story of Baucis and Philemon. In the ancient land of Phrygia, there lived a humble, elderly couple named Baucis and Philemon. They had lived their entire lives in a small, simple cottage, sharing everything they had, which was very little. Their love was not one of fiery passion, but of quiet, deep-rooted companionship. One evening, two strangers, weary from travel, came to their village seeking shelter. They were turned away from every wealthy home, met with locked doors and suspicious glares. Finally, they arrived at the humble cottage of Baucis and Philemon. Without a moment's hesitation, the old couple welcomed the strangers in. They shared their meager meal of bread, cheese, and wine, constantly refilling the guests' cups and offering them the best of what little they possessed. They treated their guests not as burdens, but with profound respect and kindness. As the evening wore on, Baucis noticed something miraculous. No matter how many times they poured from the wine pitcher, it never emptied. It was then they realized their guests were not mortal men, but the gods Jupiter and Mercury in disguise. Terrified, they fell to their knees, but Jupiter raised them up. He told them he would destroy the inhospitable village, but would spare them. He led them up a nearby mountain, and when they looked back, they saw their village had been submerged by a flood. Only their small cottage remained, which before their very eyes transformed into a magnificent temple of gold and marble. Jupiter then turned to the couple and offered them any reward they desired. Baucis and Philemon whispered to each other for a moment. They didn't ask for wealth or power. Philemon spoke for them both. "We ask to be the priests of this temple, to serve you for the rest of our days. And since we have spent our lives in harmony, let us die in the same instant, so that neither of us has to live without the other." The gods granted their wish. They lived out their remaining years tending the temple, their love a quiet testament to their devotion. One day, as they stood on the temple steps, now very old, they saw leaves sprouting from each other's bodies. Baucis saw Philemon turning into a sturdy oak, and he saw her transforming into a graceful linen tree. They had just enough time to say, "Farewell, my dear," before the bark enclosed them completely. For centuries after, the two trees stood side by side, their branches intertwined, a single monument to an unbreakable love. Baucis and Philemon's love was a temple built long before the gods transformed their cottage. Its pillars were their shared values of hospitality and kindness, their mutual respect, their unwavering commitment and loyalty through years of poverty, and the deep, intimate understanding that made their final wish a shared one. Their story reminds us that a love built on a foundation of virtue is a love that can withstand time, a love so powerful it can become a legend. Build your pillars well, and your love too can become a shelter that lasts forever.